Look, outside of that, the feds picked you up 2 times, right? You said the feds have picked you up on numerous occasions, right?
What part?
Lady
what time?
Fino,
Yeah. Okay, so look.
So
we're gonna elaborate and we're gonna respond to that. Yeah. No. Because at the end of the day, it's like this, right? Because when the same time they came and picked your ass up, right? They came and got Big Useless, right? And then they rolled on me.
Yeah.
So you already know the answer.
I don't know that they wrote on you. I'm telling you. I'm saying
we dealing with this
2 separate times. Okay, I hear you.
Okay, wait. Hold on.
You're talking.
No, look
to them.
Okay, so listen.
You can't just say you know.
Okay, no. So this is a couple of years ago, right?
Yeah.
Bricc baby hit me. Well, like
I know
5, 6.
I know
no, hold on. No, you
on the play. On the play.
Yeah, on the play, right?
Yeah.
And then some dogs eat somebody, right? So they contact Bricc. They was like, Bricc, we need our shit back. Can you get it from this individual, right? Yeah. Which is me. Bricc hit me and was like, man, they ordered you up. I said, nigga, you about to be ordered up. You get what I'm saying? That was the conversation. Yeah. What happened? You get what I'm saying? Our interaction when getting to know each other. So Bricc found out what I do, and I found out what he do. You get what I'm saying? So next question.
Meanwhile, none of us know or need to know.
Yeah. It was basically when I called, I say the play, but he know what I'm on. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Because we argued, I think, when he said I'm about to get ordered up, because I think we had some words.
Yeah, we had some words and stuff like that.
Nigga, ordered what? Nigga,
but you probably thought he was coming from a different place.
What I'm saying is, because, all right,
two birds in one stone, put it that way.
If I get his number from Big Bro, or however I reach you, I'm like, get me in contact with Cuz, boom. So when Cuz, I'm like, Cuz, they trying to, you know what I mean? I don't know that Cuz moving like this, so when I tap in, he's like, man, that's what Cuz do. I'm like, oh yeah. And they basically telling Cuz the same shit. I'm like, oh, that's why they want me to go get it from Cuz, because can't nobody else get it from Cuz. I'm like, this one, you ain't gonna be able to get back without you gotta come with some cash. You get what I'm saying? But either way it go. I get what you said. Yeah. All right. So
I'm on my way to the gym. Kevin Gates just dropped the album, and the world just drops this on me. Let's dig deeper.
The acting United States Attorney here in Los Angeles. Today, we're here to announce federal criminal charges against Eugene Henley Jr., a career criminal known as Big U, who used his contacts and leadership role in the Crips criminal street gang, the entertainment industry, and a youth charity to further his own criminal enterprise, an enterprise that engaged in murder, extortion, robbery, human trafficking, COVID fraud, and other felonies. Mr. Henley and several other individuals linked to him and his criminal enterprise were charged in a criminal complaint with federal racketeering conspiracy. Mr. Henley is a fugitive, and he is currently wanted by federal law enforcement. Other individuals linked to his criminal enterprise were arrested today, approximately 10 defendants who are charged in various indictments. Again, Mr. Henley is a fugitive. 4 defendants are in state custody and will be transferred into federal custody, and we are still seeking Mr. Henley and another fugitive. The Department of Justice's top priority is eliminating violent crime caused by criminal street gangs and organized crime. These organizations cause a tremendous amount of harm in our communities. And today's arrests are part of our office's efforts, FBI, IRS, LAPD, the team you see up here, to make our communities safer and rid our streets of these criminal street gangs, including ones operated by violent felons like Mr. Henley, who are posing as savvy businessmen and community leaders, but in the end are violent criminals. The affidavit filed with the criminal complaint alleges that Mr. Henley operated Big U Enterprises, a mafia-like organization that utilized Mr. Henley's stature and long-standing association with the Crips criminal street gang and other gangs here in Los Angeles to intimidate businesses and individuals in our communities. I want to stress that the allegations here in the complaint are allegations only, and the defendants are presumed innocent until proven otherwise. Let me talk a little bit about Mr. Henley and the street gang here. As I said, Mr. Henley is a widely known leader within the Rollin 60S. He rose to prominence in that gang decades ago, and he has since been a fixture on the internet talk shows and podcasts, all things that law enforcement have looked at closely as part of this investigation. He has maintained the image of an entertainment industry entrepreneur running a music label and of somebody who gives back to the community here in Los Angeles, funding a South LA-based charity, developing options, which purports to help at-youth risk escape gang life and escape the perils of gangs in high-crime areas. The facts alleged in the complaint paint a very different picture. It is one of a murderer, a thief, a liar, and a cheat, and the criminals that enabled him. For example, Mr. Henley engaged in a murder of a musician signed to his label in 2021 and dumped the victim's body in Las Vegas off of the I-15 freeway. He then attempted to evade and obstruct the investigation into the murder, including ordering witnesses not to speak with law enforcement. Henley's criminal enterprise also engaged in other crimes, including transporting prostitutes across state lines, extorting strip clubs, marijuana dispensaries, and other businesses, and fraudulently applying for COVID loans in the form of a business relief loan. On that application, Mr. Henley falsely stated that his music label, Unique Music, operated at a $200,000 profit in 2019 and was entitled to government assistance, despite the reality that the company had operated at a loss and was ineligible for such relief. Finally, Mr. Henley is accused of embezzling donations made by celebrities, professional athletes, and businesses to his charity, Developing Options, which, as I said, purports to give South LA at-risk youth alternatives to gang violence, drugs, and other criminal activity. Henley used this charity as a front. He used it to conceal his fraudulent activities, his criminal enterprises activities, and evade detection from law enforcement. If convicted on the racketeering conspiracy, he and his co-conspirators face approximately a 20-year federal prison sentence. I want to thank our federal law enforcement partners, our state law enforcement partners who brought about the result here today. The Los Angeles Metropolitan Gang Task Force from the FBI. It's comprised of FBI agents, LAPD officers, IRS Criminal Investigation, U.S. Department of Justice Inspector General's Office, Los Angeles Police Department, the North Las Vegas Police Department. This case is a great example of state and federal law enforcement working together to address harm from a criminal enterprise. I also want to thank our prosecutors, Assistant U.S. Attorneys Kevin Butler and Jenna McCabe, for their diligence and dogged determination in this case. With that, I'll turn it over to our next speaker, FBI Special Agent in Charge, Ted Knox.
Hey, yo, you. Can you subscribe and turn on that bell, too? Because when you do, you're helping unbiased, independent news. LA Crip leader turned gang interventionist, ran mafia-like enterprise, feds allege. Eugene Big U Henley is a well-known figure in the hip-hop world and has been called rap's godfather by Henley of murdering a young rapper in Las Vegas, among a variety of other crimes. Eugene Big U Henley, a Crips leader who helped launch Nipsey Hussle's career and was dubbed rap's godfather, has been accused of murder, kidnapping, robbery, extortion, and fraud. Federal authorities announced on Wednesday. As a part of Henley's purported grip on Los Angeles, his alleged victims were required to check in with Henley before arriving in the city in order to obtain protection, according to the 107-page federal complaint unveiled Wednesday. Among those Henley alleged extorted were professional athletes and musicians, the complaint said, whose business interests were not always legitimate. Federal authorities linked Henley's Big U enterprise to a mafia-like organization that relied on his stature and long-standing association with the Rollin 60S and other street gangs to intimidate businesses and individuals in LA. Authorities at a Wednesday press conference said Henley is a fugitive. More than a dozen others are in custody tied to the sprawling criminal case. Henley has maintained the image of an entertainment industry entrepreneur running a music label and of somebody who gives back to the community here in Los Angeles. U.S. Attorney Joseph T. McNeely said at the press conference, the facts alleged in the complaint paint a very different picture. It's one of a murder, a thief, It is one of a murderer, a thief, a liar, and a cheat, and the criminals that enabled him. The arrests are a part of an effort, McNeely said, to make our community safer and rid our streets of these criminal street gangs, including ones operated by violent felons like Mr. Henley, a widely known leader within the Rollin 60s. Following a years-long FBI investigation, federal authorities have accused Henley of kidnapping and fatally shooting a young rapper in the face and leaving his body in the Las Vegas desert over perceived disrespect and directing a robbery of an unlicensed LA marijuana dispensary that has stopped making extortion payments. Henley also allegedly defrauded companies, donors, athletes, and celebrities, including professional basketball player Draymond Green and former and former NBA MVP Shaquille O'Neal, persuading them to donate to his charities and later allegedly transferring the money to his own personal bank accounts. Authorities have also accused Henley of fraudulently obtaining funding from a gang reduction and youth development program overseen by the LA mayor's office. Henley previously served 15 years in prison after trying to rob an undercover sheriff's deputy of 33 pounds of cocaine in 1991. His son, a linebacker for the Los Angeles Chargers. Henley, his alleged right-hand man, Sylvester Robinson, and trusted lieutenant Mark Martin are accused of violating the Racketeer Influence and Corrupt Organization Act, RICO. Federal authorities have also charged Tremaine Williams, a.k.a. Luce Cannon, with robbery, Armani, a.k.a. Monty, with transporting an individual to engage in prostitution, and Frederick Blayton Jr. and Tiffany Hines with bank fraud. All of them are in custody, according to the U.S. Attorney's Office in L.A. In an affidavit filed with the criminal complaint, Andrew Rusa, a special agent with the FBI, said members and associates of the Big U enterprise used Henley's and the group's history and reputation to control Los Angeles through violence, fear, and intimidation. Henley simultaneously attempted to create an air of legitimacy for the Big U enterprise by promoting himself as a reform gang member focused on bettering his community, Rusa wrote. Las Vegas killing. 5 days before his killing in January 2021, Rayshawn Williams recorded a diss song. In his affidavit, Rusa said he believed Williams' diss song was about Henley, whose independent record label, Unique Music, was representing the 21-year-old rapper. It's unclear whether Henley had heard the diss lyrics prior to the killing, according to the complaint. In the diss song, Williams referred to Henley as the bro that makes some money. Rusa wrote Williams rapped that he himself might get shot in the face for thinking shit funny. He mentioned a .38 revolver with no trace. Las Vegas police found Williams' body in a ditch near a landfill on January 25th. He'd been shot in the face with a revolver that left no shell casings. Williams is identified only by his initials in the complaint, but the Times were able to confirm his name through Las Vegas news reports and social media posts. Unique Music paid to fly Williams from California to Las Vegas in January 2021 and put him up in an Airbnb, according to the complaint. His family said Henley had coached the young rapper in football since he was young. Williams was supposed to spend a week at a recording studio and record a song a day, but he missed some days. When Williams didn't show up at the studio on January 23rd, investigators say Henley and Robinson drove from LA to Las Vegas to confront him. A friend of Williams, identified only as CA, recounted that Henley arrived at an Airbnb about 2 a.m. on January 24th. Henley asked why Williams hadn't shown up to the studio. CA told the authorities Williams claimed he didn't have a ride. I believe that RW wasting the time, thereby disparaging Henley's name and the Big U Enterprises reputation and potentially flouting that disrespect with the lyrics of the diss song led to a dispute, Rusa wrote. Henley arrived at the studio about 7 p.m. Williams arrived a couple hours after and recorded until midnight. Witnesses told authorities about 12:30 a.m. Henley left the studio. The dark gray Lexus that he and Robinson had driven to the studio were no longer there. Shortly before 1 a.m., Rusa wrote Henley's phone stopped reporting location data and didn't start again until about 2:15 a.m. Surveillance footage at the Airbnb where Williams was staying captured a dark gray or silver sedan arriving about 1:13 a.m. according to the complaint. Williams got out of the passenger side of the car, went inside, and returned a few minutes later with his suitcase, despite the fact that Airbnb was rented for another day and he was not set to leave on a flight until the following day. About 3 a.m., a witness said Henley returned to the studio alone. The witness said Henley appeared to be drenched in either sweat or water. Henley told the authorities he was coming back from the gym, according to the complaint. Hours later, on January 25th, about 9 a.m., Williams' body was found in a ditch. He had died of multiple gunshot wounds. Authorities compared DNA collected from Williams' body to Henley's DNA profile. The result was inconclusive, but Henley could not be excluded as a suspect, according to the complaint. According to the complaint, following the homicide, Henley allegedly arranged for recording equipment equipment from the studio to be removed and surveillance video to be destroyed. Ruce wrote that he believed the footage would have shown an altercation between Henley and Williams the night of the killing, and at a minimum, Henley and R.W. leaving the studio together shortly before R.W.'s murder. A month after Williams' death, the FBI LA Metropolitan Task Force on Violent Gangs launched an investigation into Big U Enterprise and its association with the Rollin 60s, original gangster. Henley is an admitted member and original gangster, or OG, of the Rollin 60s and someone widely regarded as a leader within the gang, Russo wrote in his affidavit. And Hip Hop Uncovered, a 6-part documentary series for which Henley was an executive producer, he described himself as a Rollin 60 member from the first generation. The series billed itself as examining the power brokers who operate from the shadows of hip-hop. Henley said he robbed cars as a juvenile and moved to Chicago after getting kicked out of California. When he returned to L.A. in the 1980s, he said he earned his reputation by beating people up in the parking lot of the World on Wheels Mid-City Skating Rink. Throughout the 80s, Russo wrote in his affidavit, Henley fostered a fierce and earned reputation for violence. Henley said he made money selling drugs, but decided to stop after reading the autobiography of Malcolm X. I was ready to do something different, Henley said in the docuseries. He later started managing the career of hip-hop artist Corrupt. Then, in 1991, Henley was arrested in a sting operation after he and a friend tried to rob someone they mistakenly thought was a drug dealer. He served 13 years in prison and was released in 2004. Soon after, Henley formed Developing Options, a nonprofit involved in gang intervention that also provided underprivileged children a safe outlet in sports. Corrupt took Henley to Death Row Records to meet Suge Knight. In the docuseries, Henley said Knight helped him financially and put me in a position to win. He met Nipsey Hussle, an up-and-coming rapper and member of the Rollin 60s, who lived with Henley's family and recorded some of his first tracks in their downstairs studio, according to a 2023 Times article. In a docuseries, rapper Wiz Khalifa said he didn't know anybody that actually touched as many superstars as Henley has. If I was to describe Big U's role in rap, he would definitely be the godfather, Khalifa said. Can't do nothing without consulting him. He's the only guy who does move how he moves. Check-ins. In 2021, Russo wrote the FBI interviewed a cooperating witness only identified as CW1, who claimed the rap artists, athletes, and other visitors needed to pay Henley a fee when they come to the city. C1 told authorities about a large buy-in dice game in LA in June 2019. The game involved a professional boxer identified only as AB. AB's associates and several prominent NBA players, according to CW1. AB and his associates fixed the game, cheating NBA players out of millions of dollars using teased dice. After that game, Russo wrote, Henley directed associates to rough up AB, who had not checked in with Henley, and to get the money back from him on behalf of the cheated NBA players. Multiple members of the Rollin 60s allegedly arrived and were used to press AB. Henley stepped in, CW1 told authorities, because he was involved in or would approve of any dice games or similar events, such as parties involving large sums of money and prominent NBA players and celebrities in the city. According to the complaint, CW1 knew of other times in which NBA players or celebrities would need to get approval in advance from Henley to ensure their safety at events such as parties, games, or advertising shoots. CW1 said the celebrities would have to pay Henley for protection in approval or face retaliation from the Big U Enterprise. In a mentioned meeting between Henley and someone identified only as Victim 1, Henley recounted that he got into it with AB after AB cheated a current NBA All-Star out of $1.5 million and a former NBA All-Star out of $5 million. Henley also talked about charging the players $100,000 to get their money back. And a podcast hosted called Check In, he said every city he goes to, I check in with somebody, but he has denied charging fees to those coming to LA. I never made no athlete, no rapper give me nothing, Henley said in an interview with Genius, a digital media company. They reach out to me because they feel a connection to me and my neighborhood for whatever reason, how to rob yourself. The complaint laid out various robberies allegedly carried out by Big U Enterprise, including one, an unlicensed marijuana dispensary in LA on June 5th, 2021. In that case, the victim told authorities he'd been paying the enterprise up to $25,000 per month and extortion fees. After he stopped paying, he said nearly a dozen of Big U Enterprise's members and associates, along with Rollin 60 members, rushed into the dispensary armed with firearms. They were not wearing masks to obscure their identities. They allegedly stole cash and marijuana from the store before fleeing. That same day, Henley allegedly invited the victim to his home, where he laid out what had been stolen from the dispensary. That's how you rob yourself, Henley said. Russo wrote that throughout the investigation, the FBI obtained recordings of Big U Enterprise members and associates discussing robberies that they were doing or planning to do. In one case, Russo said he heard Henley on a wiretap planning a robbery of people who had stolen equipment from a celebrity rapper using an Apple AirTag that was purportedly with the equipment. Henley, Mitchell, and others got guns and began to stage the robbery. They called it off after spotting police arrived at a location, Rooster Road. According to the complaint, Henley organized a birthday party at Deja Vu for himself in December 2021. He allegedly negotiated to receive roughly 33% of the bar proceeds and promised that famous rappers, including Khalifa and T.I., would attend. The night of the birthday party, Henley, Robinson, Martin, and other associates turned up at the club. A victim told authorities he watched as Robinson, Martin, and 3 other associates took a different victim into the back room and extorted $30,000 from him. None of the promised celebrity rappers arrived, according to the complaint. Alleged fraud. Authorities also accused Henley of fraudulently obtaining funding from the LA Mayor's office through the Gang Reduction Youth Development Program since around 2015. Rooster wrote, Henley's nonprofit Development Options has received $550,000 annually as a part of the program. The nonprofit was allotted $2.35 million from the city from July 1st, 2018 to June 30th, 2023. From that, Rooster wrote, Henley has drawn hundreds of thousands of dollars purportedly in salary. According to the complaint, the GRID program has an extensive mandatory handbook that is appended to each contract and that Development Options, like every other GRID contractor, must comply with. Among many requirements are extensive criminal background checks, compliance, training, approval of employees, attendance at meetings, lodging activity, and cooperating with local law enforcement. Based on my review of documents in the course of this investigation, Development Options appears to have failed to comply with some or potentially all of those requirements, Rooster wrote. Henley also allegedly fraudulently applied for federal pandemic relief loans for Development Options, Unique Music, and other businesses. Finally, authorities accuse Henley of committing wire fraud by embezzling more than $100,000 in donations to Development Options. Although none of the donors were identified in the complaint, the Times were able to confirm their names through federal sources and public interviews. Among them was Draymond Green, who made a $20,000 donation to Development Options. In August 2019, Henley allegedly embezzled the entire donation, transferring the funds to his personal checking account. Another was Shaquille O'Neal, who wrote a $20,000 check intended to support Development Options and the Crenshaw Rams youth sports team. Henley allegedly transferred most of the money to his bank account. Henley faces up to 20 years for the RICO charge, but could get life if a jury finds that he agreed to commit the murder specifically. And look, that first clip, crazy. So basically, the feds are trying to say that Bricc and Luce robbed celebrities either for Big U or with Big U. And yeah, I will never understand being that comfortable on podcasts at all. Now, the fact that they're trying to pin that murder on Big U and everything like that, I think that comes from a family complaint. I think that's what 600 was talking about. I ain't talked to 600 about it because I just don't know. I never heard of this stuff or anything like that. Plus, that ain't none of my square that I'm standing on. But let me say this. As far as the money parts go, we see this happen with presidents, with councilmen, with senators, with congressmen all the time. What happens is typically they get told to put the money back, they get a fine, and then they get put on some type of probationary period where they could lose their nonprofit status. That's what's been happening since they've been doing this stuff. So you have that. This stuff right here that we're seeing, bruh, in all honesty, unless you have people that are coming through that have surveillance footage and all this crap and everything like that, bruh, it's one of those things where, could he beat it? Yeah. But right now, do it look bad? Of course it looks bad. But you have other people who are accused of far worse things who do not get press conferences at all. Big U is going to basically either make sure his lawyer is well paid for his fight while he's tying up loose ends right now. No pun on the name. But you had that crap that's going on. To me, it just seems like this whole entire indictment is built on he say, she say stuff. Because if that murder was so stringent, if that murder was so ironclad, they wouldn't be saying, oh, he's only facing up to 20 years. It just wouldn't. So the stuff about extortion and all this crap and everything like that, man, look. If people check in, they're not giving out money typically. Now in the older days, more than likely, yeah. In the 90s and in the 80s and hell, even early 2000s, yeah. But this stuff that's alleged all happened after that. Now the question then becomes, hey, bruh, why do they get on podcast and say all this stuff and everything like that? Because a lot of times the comments and the reaction videos and all that crap, bruh, and I don't do it because I personally don't care. A lot of times these cats want to prove themselves. But it's like, for what? This is the ultimate thing that happens. You become associated so much that you associate yourself into racketeer influence and corrupts organization acts. Do I believe Bricc and Luce did all this stuff? No. Do I believe that Big U did this stuff? No. Now, there are a lot of puzzle pieces that had to be placed together in a 107-page indictment. Yeah. Now, when that 107-page indictment comes out, we'll definitely read it and we'll put the whole entire thing out. I'm going to do like how the family say, man, I don't give you no angle. I just give you the story. I'm just going to put that whole entire thing out on a Setty Nash Reloaded page. But as it stands right now, there's a reason why they are using the news stations to push their propaganda. I say propaganda. I don't like saying propaganda. It's just one of my things. That they're using them to push and paint the illustration that they want to say automatically guilty. But if it was really that bad, why are we not looking at mandatory life sentences? Where are the multiple shootings and murders and all this crap? Bruh, this is much to do about nothing, to be fair. Y'all gotta remember, just a week ago, cats was calling Big U a snitch and all this stuff and everything like that. I stay out of it because people have their own personal vendettas. They just do. I'm not here to hate on nobody. I'm not here to spit on anybody, anything like that. But for the most part, the reason you ain't see Setty Nash speak on a lot of this stuff, because people had their likes and dislikes. Everything is selective politics. Every single thing. That's why my section, y'all don't think these videos, all this crap these lanes be making, bro, we just put out paperwork and we leave it alone. That's why no accusation ever levied against me ever passed the smell test in the streets, because I have actual paperwork to prove otherwise. But this ain't about me. When it's all said and done and we read it all, we got to see what happens. The feds will throw 1,000 things against the wall and hope that you turn around and go for it. Ultimately, bro, I think if Big U get convicted and all this stuff, I don't think he does no more than 5 years. Bricc and all them and everything like that, bro, they won't do no more than 2 to 3 years if they are convicted. So all this, magically, everybody that was a snitch, now they all locked up. Now they all locked up. And when the paperwork drops, all the speculation between people who are no longer here and all that stuff, I got an odd feeling none of that stuff is going to be brought up at all. None of it. But keep on watching, man. Subscribe, turn that bell, stay notified, share to keep your people aware, and I'll catch you on the next one.